Saludos and salutations, Broncos Country, and welcome back into another exciting episode of Broncos Talk. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be honest with you. Libre and I were just backstage, and we were supposed to have been talking about the preseason game, but, you know, we're a bunch of chismosas. We talked about everything else besides the game. But I promise you, we are going to get down to the nitty-gritty, everything that we saw in preseason, the good, the bad, and the Baki. And if you don't know what that means, then you have not been a fan long enough, so you need to subscribe right now to the channel. And if you do, send me a message, and if you still don't get it, I'll let you know what it is. But regardless, ladies and gentlemen, make sure your food is warm, your beer or drinks are cold, because you do not want to miss a single episode or minute of today's episode. I screw it up. I don't care. That's the really good thing about doing these things, is that you can do whatever you want, and nobody says anything unless you're Johnny Baki, because he watches every single show from beginning to end. That is one dedicated man, let me tell you. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, get ready and get set, because here we go. And welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adan Diaz, the man that talks way too much on this show. And joining me to my left or right, depending on which direction you're watching us, is the man that says that, Bronco Libre. Caballero, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
What's happening? Doing well. You know, one thing that I love about today, and not only our episode happening, but today's actually my Friday, because I have the next couple of days off. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to the Broncos training camp, which is actually the last one open to the public. And it's also a joint practice with the Arizona Cardinals.
Have I told you I envy you yet today? I think I may have
right in the backstage. Yes, you did.
Like, I wish I was you for just a day.
But the problem is you can't fit into my shoes. I'm sorry.
Your shoes, your shirt, your mask. I had Incredible Hulk out of all that stuff. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for being here with us. As always, we are so excited to be here with you and talk, of course, Broncos Talk, which is the name of the show. Before we get started, if this is your first time here, welcome. If it's not, welcome back. We have a couple of things we have to get out of the way, just like we do before the start of every single show. And if I don't do it, Johnny's going to yell at me. And if you've ever seen Johnny mad, it's kind of like the Hulk, but the opposite. Just think about that for a second. I haven't got on his nerves in a while, so I'm catching up. Okay. I got bills to pay. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to ask you to show your support for us here on the Orange and Blue Network. Please subscribe, share, comment, and like on this and all of the shows here on the Orange and Blue Network. In case there's something that you wanted to ask us that we didn't answer on the show, Libre and I are always down and happy to talk about any and all things and catch up with you guys, and we will try to get back to you as soon as we definitely can. For our audio listeners, please, 5-star reviews are always very well appreciated. You can screenshot your review if you want and send it to our socials. We will definitely be happy to share it with you live here on the show. Our Twitter handles are right there at the bottom of the screen. Mine is at a 6'10" Mexican. Bronco Libre is at Bronco Libre 5280. Also, big shout out to the sponsor of today's show and every single show at that, which is W. Ladies and gentlemen, in case you haven't heard, W is all the things that you need. It's all the good stuff without the bad stuff. Now, what do I mean by that more directly? Let me tell you. Basically, it was formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash. Their formula contains vitamins, amino acids, and nootropics, including the Pandid Neurofactor formula. Basically, it's no calories, no sugar, no maltodextrin, no fillers, and no artificial colors. And to show you guys just how awesome Johnny and the guys over at the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast, the flagship show, by the way, they want to hook you up with 10% off your order when you use the code NRWOB10 to get your 10% off. Again, that code is NRWOB10 to get your 10% off at checkout for all of your favorite Dubby flavors. Shout out to Johnny and the guys over at the Nothing Rhymes with podcast for hooking you and me and Libre and everybody within the sound of my voice for 10% off your favorite Dubby flavors. And of course, the Dubby for being a continued sponsor of this and all the shows here on the network. For any business inquiries, you can email at broncostalk2020@gmail.com. Shout out to our TikTok audience if they're still here watching us. If you guys have any questions or comments you want to ask us during the show, please feel free. If we don't answer everything, we do apologize. But we're trying to do two things at once, and I'm old. So, you know, it gets harder trying to do more things at once. It requires more energy. You know, that's where Dubby comes in. You know, kicks in. And then finally, want to go over with you guys the show of the schedule for the start of the 2025 season. Words are hard, I know. Basically, we have the Orange and Blue Blitz, which is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. We have the Broncos Bros every Monday at 7 p.m. because, bro, do you Bronco, bro? It's a legitimate question. Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue, of course, the flagship show, which airs every single Tuesday at 6 p.m. All these times are in Mountain Time, by the way. We have a new show, the Mahai Symposium, which premiered today. So if you haven't seen it after you guys catch us, make sure you go back and watch them, which is every single Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. Broncos Talk, this show, of course, every Wednesday at 6. Viva los Broncos will be making their long debuted return from vacation Friday at 6 p.m. And then for any breaking news that happens in Broncos Country, Fresh Squeeze goes live on the air. So make sure that notification, that little bell button on the YouTube channel is highlighted, so that way you get the notification every single time breaking news breaks, so you don't miss a single ounce of it. And also, before every single game day, 1 hour before kickoff, it's the Get Bucked pregame show with Johnny and the rest of the guys. And then we also have the postgame show, which is the Buck Your Feelings postgame show, which airs after every single game day, right after the game. And you got to get there early because Johnny only lets us swear like for a minute or two, and then we have to stop, okay? And then you're going to have to probably imagine the rest of the cursing on your own. And yeah, and me and Johnny, we're like sailors, bro. We go bananas.
You know what's funny? You say bananas. We had the Savannah Bananas here in Denver this last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So I heard that they was the most people ever to attend their 2-day show. Over 100,000 people that were there, which is bananas. I don't care what you say about it. It was crazy, but some of the videos that I saw were actually pretty cool.
And then finally, we are powered by Broncos World Order. When you scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll down or up our timeline, you would see or find that we've almost got everything in the whole wide world, Denver Broncos. Make sure you guys are a part of the action. They are on Facebook. You do not want to miss a single part of the action. Shout out to Broncos World Order for being a supporter of this and all the shows powering this network, you know, as well as our dreams and thoughts and all that other mushy stuff. But man, we got some people already in the comments, Libre, and we haven't even started talking about today's show. Fanatic Dak jumping in saying, "What's up, homeboys?
What's happening, Vato Loco?"
The boss saying, "Damn right, I watch every show."
Hey, thank you.
You know, I didn't actually believe that. And then when we started talking, I think it was like 2 episodes ago, he texted us like the next day, like, "You guys are some about the lazy boy thing." I didn't think he'd see that.
And the funny part of it, what I love what he said too, he goes, "Keep my name out your mouth." That was the best part.
And his co-host Jay, the Dream Weaver, saying, "What's up, dudes?
What's up, Viva?"
We got Chief 24 saying, "Let's go 10 straight." 10 straight.
That means,
AFC.
yeah, that's not happening. So he's talking about the Chiefs going 10
Oh,
straight
the
championship,
Chiefs.
winning
Oh,
the
okay.
division. Yeah, that's not going to happen this year. This year
Yeah.
is a whole different story.
Yeah. Yeah. Shy Vargas saying, hey guys, Mahai salute to you, Shy Rock. And then we have D Rock saying, Libre and Adan. Thanks so much to you.
What's
Mahai
happening,
salute to
D-Rock?
you, D Rock, my friend. We have Tiana Acosta saying, love the Broncos. That's a name I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah.
seen in chat. Thank you so much for being here with us, Tiana, and thank you so much for your support. And thank you all as well for your support. Also, if anybody's left on TikTok still watching us, thank you guys for at least stopping by. That helps the algorithm, right? All right.
Oh, yeah.
Libre, we have got to finally get into the show before Johnny cuts us off. The preseason. Now, I was on vacation, so I didn't see the entirety game live. I was trying to watch snippets of it, but unfortunately where I was, my cell service was just completely terrible. Like it was just in fragments. So I had to wait until after when they added the replay, and then I saw it after the fact. I did see the highlights and stuff, and I know some of the guys in the chat were too excited to talk about the game itself. But I got to tell you, Libre, what I saw in from the first quarter, it was bad. Okay. Yes, the Broncos won the game, which is fantastic. And I will admit, Jarrett Stidham finally looked like Jarrett Stidham, and he did what you're supposed to do against, seconds and thirds in a preseason game. So the second and the thirds, they looked exactly how they were supposed to look. They went out there and they showballed out. But the first team from the defense giving up that huge play at the very beginning, and then Bo Nix and the offense going out there and then just getting that Libre. You cannot. I know it's the preseason. Somebody in chat already said it, and it's just kind of crazy how it's going. But you cannot go into the season playing like that. Yes, I know. It's only preseason, Libre. But when you're the starters and you're playing against another team, and the Niners, I don't think had any of the starters, if I'm not mistaken. You have to go out there and lay down, just like we were hearing all the hype during practice that, that the Bo Nix was punishing them. Purdy was getting killed out there. We didn't see any of that. So I'm hoping this was just like those first game jitters and not something that we can hopefully not have to see week one. Because if it is, it's definitely concerning. It's kind of giving flashbacks of what we saw in week 1 and week 2 of last year when Bo Nix was a rookie, Libre.
I agree with you. Yes. Like even the people in the comments are already saying that it's only preseason. It's going to be okay. And I say the same thing as well. I'm not too worried. It's the very first series that we're going out there. Yes, the stories are out there that during the joint practices that they were out there and the Broncos were just dominating them. Is it a little concerning that that it was Bo Nix and some of our starters with like Cortland Sutton and all them that they didn't do that well against the second teamers? You know what? It's the first series. It's the first. It's just a little jitters that they have that are going out there. It's okay. This is the reason why we have preseason games. I heard just even this morning, there's teams that go 3-0 in the preseason. But guess what happens during the regular season? They end up having a terrible season. There's nothing that's out there. There's teams that go 0-3, and then they start off the season 6-0 or whatever. So again, this is really the preseason itself is to get some of these players that are not going to be able to make their team some film on them so that they can either make it to another team because they already know they're not going to make this team, but to have them out there just so that they can get onto another roster itself. That's really what the preseason is, and it is to get the little quirks and everything itself from here and there to help set up the season itself. Because you have to remember, Sean Payton and any other coach as well is not instilling the actual true offense during the preseason itself. This is just so you can get yourself in game time situational play, like just getting out there, getting prepared for the season itself, getting into the routine of, all right, we're in a huddle, we're getting out there, we're getting the plays calls. So whatever's happening, if they're going out there throwing up eggs or whatever, I'll be more concerned if with Bo Nix just throwing interceptions every other play itself. That's going to be concerning. But I don't see that happening. It's going to be okay. It's okay. It's okay. Let me repeat it again. It's okay.
I know, but still, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but seeing it happen, Libre, is just kind of like if this was Bo Nix's rookie year like last year, I would be in total agreement with you. I'd be like, it's okay. He's a rookie. He's getting his feet wet. We're going to see a lot of the rookie struggle, okay? From what we saw from the preseason, a la Travis Hunter, they're starting to realize, and it's only one game in, ladies and gentlemen, that whatever they did in college, whether they were studs or not, is not going to automatically transfer into the NFL. You're going to have to earn your spot on the team and make it be known to everybody, not just your teammates, but the team that you're playing, the name that you're representing on your chest every single Sunday, that you were worth that roster pick. All right. So going back to the offense, to me, it just looked like first game jitters. Right.
Oh yeah.
I would have been a lot better if it felt better. I mean, if it was against the San Francisco number ones, and maybe there were on the defensive line. Again, I didn't see who the players were. I do know that Purdy did not play in the opener. It was the backup. So, and he got punished. The defense took that personally. That first play, that's how you ignite a defense, and you say, "Oh hell no," And they went out there. Yes, they gave up a touchdown, but that's the only touchdown for the entire game. Not even the San Francisco's 2s and 3s were able to do anything against our 2s and 3s. So again, kudos to them for doing what they're being paid to do. Now, I do expect I'm pretty sure that the starters are going to get another start next week, and then the following week we're definitely not going to see any of the starters. It's going to be who's ever on the bubble. Last kind of like a last chance shot to try to make the Broncos team before the 53 man roster has to be acclimated. On a positive note, Libre, I loved what I saw from RJ Harvey. Okay, especially when you saw what Ashton Genty went through. The man didn't land a single positive yard during his time playing. Meanwhile, RJ Harvey, you couldn't keep him from running through the inside. The outside runs were a bit of a liability, I saw. So, getting him to run in between the tackles is probably going to be the safer option for him. For me, we're going to need a little bit more speed to run on the outside. And I'm not saying RJ Harvey isn't speedy. He is. But to kind of run around some of the best linebackers in the league, you might have to kind of tweak that. But, again, I loved what I saw from RJ Harvey, just putting, feet to the ground and pushing his way through.
No, I agree with you as well. This weekend itself is going to be the starters are going to play at least 2 quarters, a quarter and a half at least, maybe going into halftime, depending on situational. This last Saturday, I didn't expect Bo Nix to play going into the second quarter himself, but I think it was only because of the situational part of it itself, where the drive the drive there at the end of the first quarter going into the second quarter. But I'm okay with that. He needed to be out there for that part, and I bet you he told Sean too. He says, "I need to be out here, finish it off. Let me do it," and then they pulled him. This weekend versus AZ, he's going to be in there up until at least halftime, and then just let Stidham and Sam go out there for the third and fourth quarter. But no, overall, like how you're saying, I love what I saw with RJ Harvey. Another thing that I love what I was able to see, because I'm an offensive line guy. I'm looking at the line, both offense and defense. I love what we're doing this year by pulling the guards, because that alone is just going to help out with RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins, going to be able to hit those holes, because once those holes are created, and what I love about it too is going back to the thinking about TD, he made that one cut and he was gone. And that's what I see from these guys as well. Now that we're actually pulling these guys, like you just need to create that little bit of a hole, and they see that open hole, that vision itself, and make that one cut and go north and south. Like it's gonna be great. It's gonna be there. Again, like we said, it's the very first game. We could see the little adjustments that we may have to make, especially when, like you were talking about, going on the outside.
Mhm.
It's going to be there. They're going to make adjustments. They're professionals. They're going to be there. They're going to make that happen. They're going to be able to tweak whatever they see. And I see that this is going to be potentially a dangerous offense itself. Like it's going to be crazy.
Which one of those, now that you mention it, that's actually a very good point, Libre. Which one of the guards being pulled do you think or did you see did better in that regard? Powers or
Miners.
Yeah, Miners.
Belly of the Beast, he did pretty good. I like even though he's a big guy, but he's quick. Like he's quick on his feet and he's that way. And who is going to want to see him coming and pulling and blindsiding you? Like there's going to be that nobody wants to see that, and he has the quickness to do it, and I'm excited for it. And they're going to be creating lots of holes. They've already called this Broncos offensive line as one of the best offensive line in the league right now, and it's better than the Philadelphia Eagles, and they have Saquon, but Saquon is the one that breaks tackles and so forth, that creates his own plays and his yardage. But being able to have this line, and this line actually reminds me, even though it's a different type of setup and so forth for the line itself, is like the late 90s when we had Stink and all that. Like that time we're a zone blocking offensive line, but now that I see that we've actually transitioned from zone from last year to pulling these guys, and I was saying this before even training camp came up, I was like, we need to see these guys pulled and have them out there, because it's going to create more opportunities for these running backs. And I'm glad that Sean Payton does see that, and this line is going to be scary good. And I could potentially see that J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey having 1,000-yard seasons, like for both of them. It's going to be there.
Oh man! Now that you're speaking of the running backs behind R.J. Harvey, they ran pretty good.
Watson,
good too. Yeah, Watson, boy, he looked like a man possessed out there, bro. Yeah. Like they're making it hard for Sean Payton to choose.
And Watson, that's the best thing ever.
Yeah. So like it is going to be tough. And now I've been seeing on a lot of Broncos threads the last couple of days where McLaughlin's name has been mentioned as possibly being cut, not making the team. So that to me, I don't know how to feel about that currently, because just for the simple fact that I like McLaughlin. I think he has a lot of burst speed. He's definitely a player you could use to run around the edges in sorts. But if that's the thing he has to compete with, then he has to really put out something out there to keep his name in there, to say, hey, we need 3 running backs. Obviously it's going to be Dobbins. It's going to be Harvey. That third quarterback, Libre, is really going to be up for grabs, because only one of those guys is going to make it to the 53-man roster, and the other 2 are going to have to sit in practice squad. And I think that a guy like if it's Watson, he might be able to stay there and be ready for if the Broncos need him. But if you put a guy like McLaughlin there, I think that he would be picked out by another team, just for the simple fact that he unfortunately was caught in a situation where he just got out competed, if that's a word.
No, I know, absolutely. And yes, and what's going to be hard for Sean to do is to pick do we keep 3 or do we go with 4? Like that's going to be a hard decision, because with Tyler Bidet, he played really well as well. Like, and again, you have to remember that's a Sean Payton guy. Audric Estime is a Sean Payton guy. He got drafted by him last year. So if it's going to be between, say, those 2, Estime might be out if he doesn't pull his own weight, especially for these last 2 games here before we enter the season. Like it's going to be a hard decision that they're going to go out there and do. But that's what I love, is that these guys are pushing each other and making the coaches make these hard decisions, because that you went out there and you balled out, and now this only gives you that opportunity to go out to another team, and actually get paid and get some playing time, or you're going to come back and you're going to be on the practice squad. And if something does happen, say with Dobbins or or RJ Harvey, whatever, that they already know the system and they just pull them up from the practice squad. But we're
Mhm.
not thinking that. It's not going to happen. These guys are going to be healthy for all 17 games. So, but I just love that the competition that is happening in this running back room is so fierce, and I'm excited to see it tomorrow because I'm going to be going to training camp tomorrow, and it's the joint practice with Arizona. So I want to see these guys go out there and run hard and smash the mouth and get out there and just make it hard for these coaches. Like, fight for your lives, man. This is what they're doing. They're fighting for their lives to stay in the NFL.
Man, speaking of impressive, that player that we got from Minnesota, Trent Stratford?
Yeah. The tight end. Is it the tight
Was
end or
he a
wide
tight end?
receiver?
No, he's a wide receiver. He ran way too fast for a tight end. But that pass, that beautiful pass from
Stiddy.
From Jared Stidham, from Stidham to him. I think Sherfield is his last name. I just want to make sure I get it right. Trent Sherfield. That was a beautiful tiptoe catch in the end zone. I mean, it was just fantastic. And again, the wide. Thank you, Bronco Danny. He says it's Sheffield. Thank you. I don't know why I thought it was Sherfield.
That F and the R looks very similar.
It's either Sheffield or Sherfield, one of the two. But it was just like amazing, man. He corrects it's Sherfield.
Yeah,
Sherfield. But he was making the case of how hard it is. You think the running backs picking is going to be hard. The wide receivers, I mean, Jesus Christ. That catch like that was amazing. Troy Franklin made up for the incomplete pass a play earlier and was able to help convert on that fourth down. I do not envy Sean Payton, Libre. I really don't, because when it comes down in 2 weeks where he has to sit down and make roster cuts, it's going to be like, who can they stow away and make it for where they can't, have somebody sitting there like a possible diamond in the rough, a really good player, and not him being able to be plucked by another team. It's really hard, excuse me, especially if the Broncos decide to kind of leave some space and see what other players teams dump out and who's available to be picked up from other teams' roster cuts as well. But just to be able to have that depth in the wide receiver chart, Libre, it really makes me feel good. It honestly does. But I still think that the one thing that we're still missing is a really good tight end, aside from Evan Ingram. Like, if you can get another good tight end, maybe in the roster cut somewhere, or if the Broncos are, hit the ground running and they can trade for one, they will be so much better off. And to give them kind of like a buffer zone, so to speak.
So that's why we have Caleb Lohner. So that's why they went out and got Caleb Lohner, that he's going to be that guy. He's going to have that. He has that raw potential.
Mm-hmm.
And that's somewhat kind of perfect because now Sean Payton can go, this is my guy. I'm going to be able to mold him to that tight end that I want him to be. And just the fierce size of this dude. This dude is tall, like crazy tall.
And not to mention, Lucas Krull probably had the greatest touchdown he'll ever have in his whole career.
True. Wide open.
I have never seen anything like that in my life. And you better believe that Kyle Shanahan chewed the hell out of those three guys in the film room on Monday. Like, what the F were you guys even thinking of?
He didn't wait until Monday's film session. He was doing it there on the sideline.
You think so? I didn't see any film, but I wouldn't be surprised if he chewed out. Especially if it wasn't Shanahan, it was definitely what's his name, the defensive coordinator that came back. But it was just it was just crazy. Like, aside from a couple of awesome plays that we saw during the preseason in other games, like that one was definitely going to make the highlight reels, and rightfully so. And Lucas Krull could be that guy, Libre. But I always saw him more as like a Russell Wilson addition when he was here. because for some reason Russell always, if you guys want to be more consider or more into it, then you can go back and look at that Texans game where I don't care what anybody says, Libre. In that Texas game, there was a player wide open. He had probably 5 to 10 yards to still get to the end zone. But for some reason, Russell Wilson throws it into triple coverage where Kroll was, and he just gets completely picked off. So I don't know what it is, but and I'm not taking anything away from Luke or Kroll or nothing. I'm just saying to have a bit of a buffer. So that way, when you have a guy like Evan Ingram out there, you don't make it obvious that it's going to go to Ingram. You know what I'm saying? You want to make the defense pick a choice. Either you're going to guard Ingram or you're going to guard tight end number 2, you know. At least for me, because when I play Madden with the Broncos, I always run tight end attack. So it's my favorite play. And I always got to make sure I have 2 really good tight ends in case one is covered.
No, it's going to be there. I feel like going out there getting anybody else right now, the only way that that's going to happen is if we have any type of injury. We have who we have now. We're going to utilize them. That's why we drafted Caleb Lohner, and he's going to be there. He looks pretty good. It's just that, like I said, he has that super raw talent, former basketball player. That tight ends. If you go back in the history of all these tight ends in the league, were former basketball players that were in college. One big one, Tony Gonzalez. Don't hate to say it, but he was there in KC for a long time, Atlanta. He was a former basketball player. So that is the type of player that is needed. And again, that's the outlet that we're going to need, especially with his height, like jump ball. Nobody's going to jump higher than him. He's going to be there, and I'm excited to see that. And Sean Payton's going to utilize him in the proper way. So that's something I'm excited for.
I really do hope so too. But again, I mean, like everybody keeps saying, it is early, so we'll see what happens. But the Broncos got the preseason win. That was a big, big plus, and it was a stomp. Okay, 30-9 was an incredible score, and forcing the Niners to play a field goal after they took a commanding lead, and the Broncos never looked back, just made it all that much better. Now, let's shift gears a little bit, Libre, to looking forward to the second preseason game, the game that you're going to be at, which is the Broncos hosting the Arizona Cardinals. What is it that is there something that you expect to see from let's start with the starters. Is there something from the starters that you expect to see that you didn't see last week?
Yes, I want to see Evan Ingram more involved in the offense itself, which I feel that we're going to be able to see that here this upcoming weekend. And then I also want to see the Broncos say we signed Nick Bonito, because that's what needs to happen. But I've been saying this already to a lot of people already that I've talked to. Is I feel like they're working on it right now, and it's going to be done before the season starts, because if they wait until after the season, the price is only going to go up more. If we can just get him done here, and I feel like we have the cap space to still do it, and if we can get him done before as soon as the season starts, that's going to be a win-win for everyone, for him, for us in general. So when next year comes along, when we finally have even more cap space available, we're going to be able to bring in more people that are going to help us to compete for the back-to-back Super Bowl that we're going to have.
For me, I think that to just kind of piggyback off of the notion that you made, I think it was last week or the week before, that it is starting to look more and more like JFM is going to be the odd man looking out, because with this Nick Bonito signing, and it's going to happen, they're basically going to look to JFM and say, hey, look, if you want to wait until next season when the cap goes up a little bit, they can, move some money around, or you can take a team-friendly deal and you can stay here for another one. But what I think is unfortunately going to happen is I don't think Franklin Myers is going to bite on either one of those, and I think he's going to sit out. And he's going to force the Broncos' hand to kind of trade him to another team and play somewhere else. Now, I hope I'm wrong, because Franklin Myers, since he got here, has been fantastic. fantastic enough for him to go and get a big money contract? That's debatable.
So again, when we talk about those defensive linemen like that, and we just talk about so it's Zach Allen, get him getting paid, and the same scenario that happened during the time that we got Zach Allen was with Draymond Jones. So we were talking about that about Draymond Jones being that type of guy. A lot of players upset about him being let go and going over to Seattle during that time. It's that same type of scenario. Is that who had the better deal right now, Zach Allen or Draymond Jones? Of course, now if you look at the contract wise, it's Zach Allen was the better off deal to go with, and Draymond Jones was just recently released by Seattle. He just signed up with another team, but it was only for a 1 year deal. But that's part of it as well. It's about making these decisions, but they also have to make the best of it once they get to their new teams. And I feel that with JFM, he's not gonna be there. It's like if he's really gonna want to compete for the Super Bowl, if that's really what he wants, he should sign another year with us, or sign with us at a lesser deal, and you're gonna get paid later on. Like if it's gonna be here or not, if you want that true ring, the opportunity for that ring, it's now. Like go ahead and play it now. But I do feel like after this year, I don't think we'll see him in a Bronco uniform next year.
Yeah, and Shai Vargas brought up a good point, and I forgot to mention Pat Bryant did good. And he certainly
Yeah.
did, Shy, but unfortunately, I think that Pat Bryant was just kind of overshadowed in everything that was going on with the number ones. Because if you follow the Broncos on social media, their name was trending and the Broncos were all over the place, and not for
Oh
the
yeah.
good part by that. I have a feeling that we'll see a little bit more of Pat Bryant this week. I have an even better feeling that we're going to see more of Pat Bryant in week 3.
Mhm.
Playing with what's his name?
Stidham.
Stidham. I keep forgetting his freaking name. Stidham, and then who's ever
Sam.
going in, Sam, and then maybe they'll bring in another quarterback.
We
maybe
only have the 3 quarterbacks unless they're gonna put Marvin Mims as our backup, but no, it'd be
maybe
Stidham.
they
They'll
could
probably
bring
do
in some
Stidham first half.
undrafted. I don't know. They could do Stidham first half and Sam the second one.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I've seen teams like switch quarterbacks almost every single quarter, a la the Browns.
Well,
They
didn't
have
you just
one
hear what
quarterback
happened
for every
today?
quarter.
Did you hear what happened with the Browns today with Shador?
Yeah, Shador went down. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's got to be
He
contending.
injured his oblique. Yeah, it's gonna.
Mhm.
They're just hurting. Like who was it last week as well? Like somebody went out and like they're hurting now. Quarterbacks. They had like 5 quarterbacks, and like 3 of the 5 quarterbacks are hurt or something.
Yeah, but Shador is probably like the one that's like, yeah,
Yeah.
the one, because he's the one that everybody's gonna be watching in a month. So you want him to be at his best. Not to take anything away from Joe Flacco, because this isn't Joe Flacco's first time as a Brown, but everybody came to see Shador, at least everybody in Cleveland at that. But yeah, Pat Bryant definitely did good. I do remember seeing his name a couple of times. Good catches. He didn't unfortunately get to the end zone that time, but I have a feeling that he will have a preseason touchdown before it is all said and done in 2 weeks. But going back to this Cardinals game, I do think that there's a good shot that Vance Joseph is, first of all, he's coming back to play his old team at that. So you got to believe that I personally think that Vance Joseph did not leave on very good terms with the Cardinals, and the Cardinals now have to face their former teammate in Zach Allen, because I'm pretty sure Zach Allen is going to play at least a quarter, maybe the first half at that. Who knows? But they cannot be happy to see Vance Joseph and Zach Allen on the opposite side of the field. But for me, I also want to see, I think I want to see a bounce back from the first team offense. It doesn't have to be like, hey, Bo Nix, just hail it up in the air and hope somebody catches it. I just want to see strategic. Somebody made a really good comment that said, hey, Sean Payton isn't going to lay all his cards down in a preseason game. Like, he's saving all the good stuff for the regular season. And I really did not think about that at first. So that helped me calm down a little bit. But it's true. I'm pretty sure that a lot of the plays that we're seeing are just kind of things that they cooked up in practice that they're trying to see if it'll work in an NFL game. And if it doesn't, then it's like, hey, back to the drawing board type of thing. And if it does, hey, maybe we can use this, tweak it around a little bit type of thing. But the good thing about having a guy like Sean Payton, an offensive minded coach at that, is that he can just go off script sometimes and it can work. And now that he has the quarterback that he wants, now that he has the team that he wants, it's no more having to come in and playing with house money, so to speak. It's just him being able to basically do what he's being paid to do, and no more of this building and rebuilding and move this around and do. No, all that's out the window. All the players are starting to fall in place. Nick Bonito is more than likely going to be the last player to fall in place for this season, where the Broncos can finally say, all right, we're good to go for the season.
No, you're right. And really, it's like I was saying it right after the game, especially that second series, where he affected that whole series itself. That first play sacked him. The second play, even though he wasn't credited for the sack itself, he was there. Like at first they did give him the sack, but then after further review, they took it away from him. But then that whole series, he was just so disruptive on that second series. Like I was already telling people, I was like, you know what? They need to leave San Francisco with him with a new contract and him signing it while on the flight back. But I agree with that. Like that's why I was kept on saying it's like they're gonna have it done before the season starts, just to give him peace of mind that he's good to go and he's just gonna dominate. Like how can you not give him that? Like you're seeing really like what he has right now is like the same vision of that Von Miller had. Like if you're looking when the young Von Miller compared to now with Nick Bonito right now, like it's almost like this a young like the same player, but 10, 15 years later. Like you're seeing that. And I'm excited to see what Casa Bonito is going to be able to do.
Me too. When you talk about Nick Bonito, the speed that he possesses gives you those Von Miller flashbacks, just like you said. And I didn't really think about it because I had to watch there was a video I saw on TikTok earlier today where it was just like they were doing the highlights and the speed. It's almost like the offensive lineman has to force a hold to save his quarterback and take because they'd rather take the penalty instead of, getting their quarterback killed or getting hit from behind or just not having to check in to Casa Bonito, basically, is what they're trying to do. So it's going to be an amazing feeling when Nick Bonito gets that big contract. I do have a feeling, Libre, especially if Nick Bonito has another nice preseason game this coming week where his name gets thrown out there again in the highlights and, gets the people talking. Definitely going to be somebody to watch out for. And it's great. I'm really happy for him. But again, going back to what we were talking about a few minutes earlier, just get ready because there's going to be some pushback. There's going to be some animosity from Franklin Myers. I do hope I'm wrong. I do hope he takes a team-friendly deal, plays with the team, and then if he wants to pursue his bag next year, hey, have at it. But if we can just kind of avoid all of that drama, because we've seen it from a lot of different players of them not going to training camp and holding out and contract negotiations and all this stuff. What we don't want is we don't want any player to come back in like week 2 and week 3 and they haven't played a snap in over a month because you're holding out that long. You give them the money and then they come in and they're rusty as hell and then they get hurt. And that's what we don't want.
So what I love about what's happening right now with this team, I don't see that with any players because this is a brotherhood. They've talked about it. The continuity of this team right now is so unbelievable that you don't see anybody being so selfish about it. And that's why this team is gelling so quick already.
Mm-hmm.
With having Tufanga in here and having Greenlaw. They like those guys already said it as well. This is a brotherhood. And it's not like I'm here to get my bag. I'm here to do this on my own. It's all about me trying to, it's about me, this, me, that, me, whatever. Just talking about like Nemo, mine. But it's really, but it's like, but the thing is, that's what I love about this team, that Sean Payton has these guys so focused, so team oriented that we're doing it for the brother next to me. And that's what I love about it. And that's why the players that are here love it so much right now. And that's why you already see them gelling and having so much fun. And that only leads to great things to come on the field.
I mean, I do think so too. If you go back and watch some of the tape from Kyler Murray last week, it was not impressive. And that one interception he threw was terrible. I mean, I don't even remember seeing a Cardinals wide receiver wide open. He literally threw it to the cornerback. So I think that Murray's going to be running more than anything. His offensive line is really going to have their work cut out for them when they go up against
Mm-hmm.
our starting defensive line. Maybe they'll catch a break when the 2s and 3s get in there. But then again, you're going to have some hungry players out there that are fighting for a roster spot, and they are going to be out there giving it their all, trying to make the team. But for me, aside from the starters, again, shifting gears to the defense, I want to see them start strong. Obviously the number 2s and the number 3s, as I stated at the beginning of the show, they started off strong. They were able to get those interceptions. McMillan made up for that. I don't even know what you would call that, Libre. I don't know if McMillan was trying to make a play for the ball or he slipped and he fell, but he more than made up for it in the following drive with that interception. So kudos to him for owning up to his mistake and making up for it. But again, I do think that we are much more better than that. Now, granted, Dre Greenlaw was the only player that was not on the field this past Sunday or Saturday, sorry, Libre. And I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he's going to play until week 1, right?
It's very possible where he may not play, and it's only because of the injury that he sustained during practice. But again, I'm not too worried about that as well. Like, just get ready for the season. We just need you for the season. We need you healthy
Mm-hmm.
for that part. And I'm okay with that. If we can get him there and have him healthy during the season, that's where we really need him. We don't. He's already proven to him for himself, and that's why he's here. He's not. He has a roster spot. He's not losing it, so he doesn't have to prove anything. So I'm okay with him sitting out all of this preseason. Yes, it'd be helpful to have maybe one game at least under your belt, just so that you're getting those hits or whatnot. But I'm not too worried about it. He's going to show up. You already know he's going to come and bring it hard. His whole career, he's done it. He doesn't
Mm-hmm.
play at a slower speed. He's full force all the time. And that's part of why he's injured at times. But that's why you love these type of players, because when they're healthy, they're there. They're going to wreak havoc. And this defense is going to be like the scary depth that we have at this defensive on this defensive team is ridiculous, because like we've talked about as well, another person that actually, now that I'm just bringing this up, that I want to see is Bailey, Levon Bailey. So getting him
Mm-hmm.
out there, seeing him, and if we can see him and him having a good day, like he's gonna have so much value to this team because of the depth that we're gonna have on this team.
Yeah, and I forgot to mention Ufanga made that
Yeah.
tackle. It was nice to see him out there, getting some reps in and just doing. I'm telling you, every time I see the hair, bro, it reminds me of Palomalu. It's like a little
Oh
bit of
yeah.
Palomalu just flying around out there and making tackles and just making it hard for everybody on the opposite side of the field. He didn't see past the first quarter, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But I do hope to see a little bit of him out there this coming against the Cardinals. If I can see him get an interception, all the much better, Libre, because I just think that I don't know. I really wanted to see an interception from either him or PS2 or Riley Moss if he suits up and plays. Just one of the starters, It was nice seeing the 2s and the 3s get their interception and doing what they're doing,
Oh
but I
yeah.
want to see the number 1s going out there and getting a pick.
No, and that's like the best part of it as well, is because you're seeing these guys, and they're truly are fighting for their lives, for the playing the sport that you love as a kid. And you're seeing them out there and actually producing in a NFL jersey. Doesn't matter who it is, if it's the Broncos, Chargers, whatever the case may be. They're out there fulfilling their fantasy of being out there, and they're just now hoping to make a team. And we go back because I've been doing this countdown to the season, and just over the weekend was Terrell Davis, and it was the story about the preseason game when they played in Japan in '92, when he went out there and made the hit that he did on that kickoff on the special teams, which actually made his career because he was ready to quit football. He goes, I'm not making this team. I'm not going to do it. But that one play made a difference. And look at that, a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah. I love your videos, by the way. I watch them all the time. If
Thank
you guys
you.
haven't done so, go back and watch. Libre is counting down literally from the start, from the top all the way to the bottom till he gets to number one. Who's going to be number one, Libre?
You tell me. Do you even know who was the best one, number one ever?
Number one. Who's the best? No.
Jason
I can't honestly
Elam.
tell you. Jason Elam, the kicker?
Yeah, to wear the jersey number one. It's not.
I would have never thought about Jason Elam. I love his commentary though during the games.
Oh yeah.
It's like he's the kicking guru. They always ask him the questions that you would probably ask somebody currently active in the NFL. But hell, even when Elam played, he played in that era where not a lot of the players had the type of protections that they have now. And even though he was a kicker, I'm pretty sure he got roughed up a couple of times with people flying in his face trying to block the kick.
Well, you have to remember that he was playing in the era of the late '90s and so forth. So the defense or the way that the game was played was a lot rougher.
Mhm.
Nowadays, if you just happen just to look at the kicker the wrong way, you're getting a flag or whatever. But yeah, he was a tough guy, and he was fun to watch, man. I loved watching him play.
Is there a player from the Cardinals? I know this is just a preseason game, but is there a player from the Cardinals that you might be interested in seeing what they can do?
Oh, of course, Trey McBride, the tight end.
Ooh,
He's from CSU, Colorado State University. So he got drafted to there, and I loved from the time he was playing at CSU to when he got drafted a couple years ago. He's gonna do good. He's already a great tight end. He's proven himself already in the league. Just wish he had a better quarterback than Murray to throw the ball to him. But overall, he's doing the best he can with what he has, and he's a star over there.
for me, well, a part of me wants to say Marvin Harrison, but he's going to be going up against quite possibly the best secondary in the league. So, unfortunately, that's not going to fare very well for him. Fantasy wise, he was very disappointing last year. He only had one game where he had 27 points, and then fortunately, he just kind of fell off. So, a part of me wants to see what Marvin Harris, is he all just hype, or is he the real deal? But again, to piggyback off of what you said, his quarterback and the schemes that they're running, it's not working, man. It's not working. And I know we're not towards the overtime segment yet, but just a hot take. I think that this is the year where Jonathan Gannon, if he doesn't get it together, they're going to look for a scapegoat, man. And they're not going to go after Murray. They're not going to go after Harrison or McBride. They're going to go after the head coach. And they're going to realize that, what Jonathan Gannon thought he was bringing after winning a Super Bowl with Philly, it's not working in Arizona. And they might have to, clean house and start all over.
Oh yeah. No, I agree. It's going to be tough. And again, that's like when they got Kyler Murray, they went through and they had just drafted
Josh Rosen.
Rosen. Yeah, they just drafted him, and they saw right away. And that's another thing is they saw him, like they thought he was going to be the franchise quarterback. And just right away, they're like, no, this is not the guy. And that's why they ended up getting Kyler. And where's Rosen at now? Bagging groceries somewhere.
Yeah.
Like he's bagging groceries somewhere because he didn't make it. He's not even in the UFL, which is some of the NFL rejects, so, or people that are still good enough but couldn't make a 53-man roster. So it's pretty hard. It's tough. And it could be where he just wasn't in it anymore. Like, yeah, he was one of the best out there in college during that time, and then he just lost interest in it. It just wasn't for him, and it happens.
You remember when Josh Rosen met Von Miller?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man, that game was that was the game where Von told the media that they were going to go to Arizona and kick their ass, right? That was that
Yeah.
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's exactly what they did. Every time I think of Josh Rosen, I think about that game and the fact that that man was so clueless. And I'm pretty sure Von Miller haunts his dreams when he closes his eyes at
Has
night,
to, yeah.
because Von was literally living in that backfield. I mean, it was crazy how scary good he was back then. But again, I don't see the Broncos losing this game, Libre. I think that, especially seeing what the 2s and the 3s did against the San Francisco 2s and 3s, I think that our depth beats the Cardinals' depth. And not just because we're Broncos fans, of course, but just it's really good to see something like that, Libre, because injuries are a part of the game, and you need to be sure that whoever you keep is going to be as close as you can to what your number ones would have been if they would have been out on the field. Okay. So that's why depth is very important. That's why the preseason games are very important, because you want to make sure that your depth is built from the best available, I should say. You don't want the Broncos to do what they did 5 years ago and literally just be picking players from practice squad and literally off the street and have people you've never heard of suit up in the orange and blue and try to go out there and win a football game. You don't want that. You want what's the best of the best. You hope that all your starters stay nice and healthy and make it 17 weeks and into the postseason, of course, all the way to a Super Bowl title, making it all those bumps and bruises and injuries or what have you, all worthwhile.
No, absolutely. And I'm so excited. Like I've already had people hit me up saying, "Hey, are you going to the game? Are you going to do this? Are you tailgating or whatever?" I said, "Yep, I'll be at the game. I'm not going to have my own tailgate yet for this game. We normally don't do our own tailgate for the preseason. But I'll be out there. I have, if you are here in town, if you're going to be going, I'm going to be visiting the Fired Up Tailgate there in Lot C. That'll be where I'll be the majority of the time. I do go around and say hello to the other peoples around the parking lots with tailgates and all that. Say hi to those guys. I had one of my buddies out here on TikTok that was following me. His name is Bronco Mike. He normally parks out in Lot M. Just on the other side of Colfax, on the south side of Colfax, in that big old parking lot there. That's where he normally posts up, but he said that he's not going to be there, but he's going to be there early just to tailgate and go around and so forth. So if you guys are out and about, come by, say hi. Let's take pictures, let's put it on social medias, let's get out there. But yeah, I'm super excited because football is now officially back. Let's go.
Yes, it is, ladies and gentlemen. For the next couple of months, we are going to be footballed out of our minds. Excuse me. Shy Vargas has a question for us. He says, "Do you guys know Orange Vader?" I personally
Yes.
don't, but Libre does. Libre, go ahead.
Yeah, I do know him personally. Me and him, are always saying hi to each other at tailgates, always visiting each other every game. It's my boy, another super fan. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get a little bit of a head start into our next segment. We have reached the end of regulation, which means that Libre and I are ready to get into some overtime.
Overtime.
Ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time here, this is the part of the show where Libre and I let our hair down figuratively and we talk about anything that's on our mind. It could be related to football. It could be whatever. If we can find a way to bring it back to football, we will, but it is not guaranteed. That is our tagline, if anybody's wondering.
So let me, I'll let you
go
start
ahead,
off
Libre.
first. Let me start off first. Today, Broncos Country, we lost one of the original Bronco greats today. Lionel Taylor passed away at the young age of 89. One of the first wide receivers that we've had on this team that put a staple out as being Broncos country. Rest in peace to him. Prayers to his family and friends that of his loss today. Just know that we're thinking of their family. Thank you for everything that you've done for Broncos country. Never forgotten. You are on my list that I had put out there on the countdown as being one of the top receivers of wearing your jersey number. So thank you for what you did for us. Prayers up, prayer to the family. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Condolences from all of us here on the Orange and Blue Network, and of course from us here on Broncos Talk. We definitely will be missed, and you definitely will never be forgotten. You can better
Never ever.
With that being said, it's kind of hard to follow that up.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Libre and I were kind of basically, like I said at the start of the show, we were chismeando. In Spanish, that means just gossiping. Because as you guys know, I was on vacation, little mini vacay last week for 4 days. And basically, I was telling Libre that my dad, for some reason, he's always had this dream about going wave running, jet skiing. So we found a place not too far from where we were staying at, like 10, 15 minutes out. It's at a lake. And we went out there and we had to fill out all this paperwork because I didn't realize you needed to, to make sure state of Wisconsin is not responsible for yada, yada, yada. And we finally got our stuff. We got a quick lesson into how the jet skis work, which is the throttle, the start button, and what you should and shouldn't do, how to go to reverse, and all that good stuff. And there's always a guy watching us, so he's just riding around us, just making sure that we're good. It's a pretty big lake. It's a pretty big area where we can go. So I went out there having a grand old time. I was telling Libre I felt like I was on Baywatch, just kind of running through the water at 30 miles an hour, and then I told Libre that I made the big mistake where I saw a guy more athletic than myself on a different jet ski, and he kind of was flying. I mean, if I was doing 30, that guy must have been doing like 40, but he was just flying, and then he kind of stops, and he does like this quick turn with the jet ski like 3 or 4 times, and then he takes off again. So I don't know why the hell I thought I could do that. So I was like, if he could do it, I'm like, I could do at least 1, maybe 2 quick turns, So I revved up the engine and I flew as fast as I could. And then I hit the brake and I tried to spin around really fast. But when I did that, I guess too much weight and I just capsized and I fell over. So the one part that they didn't tell us is what you should do if you fall off of the jet ski. So the guy was watching and he's like, this is a young teenager guy, really nice. So he drives over to where I am. He's like, you good, bro? And I was like, yeah, I think I am. And I had to swim towards my jet ski as my jet ski was slowly floating away. So it took me like 5 minutes to reach the freaking thing. And then so I finally get it. And then I was like, well, they never told us, like, hey, how do you get back on this thing? And he's like, oh, there's a little rung on the back. You pull it down, you put your knee on it, and on the back of the seat, it's got a handle. He's like, you got to pull yourself up. And I was like, I got to pull myself up out of the water, soaking wet. Like, I'm an extra, like, 10 pounds in here because I had, like, my shirt and my shorts and my water shoes. So I was like, okay, I'll try. And I tried, like, 2 times, and I couldn't do it. And then the third time, I just kind of, I wish I could have touched the ground, but the ground was too deep, so I couldn't, push myself off. And I just and I got on it, and I was like, okay, great. So I started skiing around again, and then I wasn't paying attention when I was turning because somebody else had capsized, and I was being chismoso and watching them and trying to figure out what was, what they were doing. It was a couple, and then I must have turned too hard, and then I fell off again. So, and then the same thing, guy comes over, he's like, hey man, you good? I was like, yeah, I'm good. Like, I got to do this whole thing all over again. He's like, yeah, it's the only way for you to get back on there. And then I was like, but I noticed you guys don't get on from the back. You guys just kind of climb up on the side. And then I was like, well, duh, stupid. They're only like 100 pounds. If I try to do that, the whole thing's going to flip over. Or I'm going to flip with it, So I was like, okay. So I tried to do it. I couldn't do it. And the guy saw me struggling. So he circled back. He came back. He hopped on my jet ski. And he reached out. He sat down. He reached his hand. He's like, I'll pull you up. And then I was like, I don't know, bro. Like, I think I'm too heavy. I'm going to pull you into the water. He's like, trust me, man. You're not going to pull me into the water. I was like, all right. So we tried like 2 times. I couldn't do it. So then the third time, I was almost there. I tried to push myself off of the jet ski with my arm, and I think I may have put all my weight on my elbow. And I heard like 3 pops in my elbow. And then I was like, oh, snap. And I fell back in the water. He asked me if I was okay. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I can still move. I can still swim. And then I kept trying, and then I finally got up on it. And then he's like, okay, bro, like, unfortunately, your time is up. And I'm like, really, man? Like, I was in the freaking water for 20 minutes. You could have told me that from the beginning. I could have just swam to the freaking shore, but I was like, all right. So I took the thing back. And I guess I didn't feel that at first because of the adrenaline that was running through my body. But once the adrenaline wore off, like, my elbow started to really hurt, And like for the last couple of days, I haven't been able to, I couldn't move my arm past my shoulder where I am now. Like, this is the highest I can move it without it really hurting. But now I can. Now I can do this and move it around a whole lot more. So my mobility is getting better. I just hope that maybe, I strained it or something. And it's a lot of icy hot has been on this arm the last couple of days. So I'm really hoping that all that stuff will make it go away, because I really don't want to go to urgent care because I hate needles, because needles live there, and I don't want them to be like, yeah, you need a sling or something. So I'm like, I just got this health insurance. I don't want to see how good it is. All right.
That's hilarious.
But Shai Vargas has a question for you, Libre. You got a lot of Broncos stuff behind you, bro.
Just a little bit, Shy. Just a little bit. This is my office, so I have a lot of Bronco stuff up, and you just haven't seen like the other side of the wall, which is like on this side. If I don't know if you can see, like right there, that's the game day program that I was featured on last year. And in the middle of that program itself is a huge poster that they did for the Mexican Heritage Month. So I have that over here on the other side of my monitors, and I have that framed. I have a picture of the first year that Joker won his MVP. The Nuggets gave us a poster of that, so I have that up. And then I have various pictures of athletes, John Elway, Tyrone Braxton, signed photos, one from Falco, from the Nuggets, and then a couple of pictures for Miles, the mascot, that I have pictures with him that he had signed for me.
Have I told you how much I envy you, Libre?
It's been over an hour that you said it, so I'm kind of sad that it took you that long to say it again.
Well, when I had my basement, Shy, if it matters, I had it painted orange and blue, and I have hats and pictures and stuff. Some of that stuff I had to put away in storage when I moved out. But if I ever do go back down there, I'll definitely retouch it up. And I'm going to count everything that Libre has in his house, and I'm just going to add more.
You know what? I like it. Let's have a full out competition.
And even then, Shy, I don't think that'll be enough, because Libre owns his house. I'd be in a basement. Libre will go up and decorate his attic.
Well, I don't have an attic here, but I do have my office here, which has a good majority of the stuff. But in a corner of my basement, I have a whole other like shelving area. I have this huge LED light that's down there in my basement. I don't know if you actually go out and check my video that I did with 9 News here in Denver last year. They actually came to my house, and I set up a little mock workstation downstairs. In that area, you'll be able to see everything that I have on there. You see my the LED light that's up there that I actually won at a Broncos watch party a couple of years ago, when we had Nathaniel Hackett as our coach, when we thought we were going to end up getting Aaron Rodgers that year because of the Nathaniel Hackett or whatever. But yeah, it was pretty cool. It was fun.
The only cool Broncos thing I've probably seen in a good while was when I met Johnny last year, and he showed up, and he has like the Broncos emblems on the side of his truck. And that was really freaking cool, And I'm over here complimenting his truck, and he's like, oh, I hate it. it's the color red. And I didn't even realize that until he said it, because it was kind of dark when he came to my house. And I was like, oh, yeah, you are right. It is red. Like, yeah, I hate your truck too, man. Take the Broncos logos off. How dare you put something red, Broncos colors on a red truck? I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter, man. I'm just busting your chops. But no, basically for me, my car is gray, but I have a Broncos license plate thing on it. It broke, so I had to take it off, and I forgot to buy another one when I was in Wisconsin. So, and I had an extra one somewhere. I don't know what the hell I did with it. It's probably in my truck. I got to go look for it, and hopefully I can put another one on there. I don't know how it broke. Probably those things look, they're nice and shiny when you first buy them, Libre, but then when you go through like car washes, or you're driving,
right? No, it's so weird. Like, cause I remember getting this nice plate cover as well for my license plate, and it has these like nice mirrored letters like that spelled out Denver Broncos. And I felt like the very first time we went through the car wash, one of the letters popped off or whatever, and then now I'm like, dang, that just bugs the hell out of me that I know that a letter's missing. But no, I totally get it as well, because it's like so frustrating. Now I don't even have one on there. I was like, because we got a new car, I was like, you know what? I don't even want to put one on, even though we did get the Broncos did provide us one as a giveaway last year. I have it hanging like right up here, hanging up somewhere, and but yeah, it's like I don't even want to put it up because I don't want it to be ruined.
So you have a car right now that says "Go Broncos"?
Yeah. Exactly.
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos. I'm like, I'm not going Bronco.
You know what that reminded me of, Libre? I don't know if you remember, but I think around 2009, maybe 2008, between 2008 and 2010, remember there was that craze where people were putting those sticker of the exhaust things on the side of their cars?
No,
You don't
I don't
remember
remember that. It must be a Chicago thing.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if it was a Chicago thing, but I remember here, like they were all over the place, and they were like these little like side pieces you put on the side of your car, and it's supposed to make it look like there's like a tiny side exhaust on your car, but it's actually not. It's just like a sticker thing.
Sticker, yeah.
Yeah. So I still have those on my car, and I remember I bought them, and I'm sitting there looking at it, and I thought it was the coolest thing until I showed it to my friend, and he's like, dude, that is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, because your car doesn't need side exhaust. Why the F did you buy it? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I saw other people at my local car wash with them, so I thought, you know, I wanted to be cool too. And I'm surprised that they haven't fallen off, because I've driven that truck through rain, car washes, all that stuff, and I figured, I'm like, well, maybe in a year or so it'll just fall off. You know, it's glued on there, but that is one hell of a glue. Let me tell you, it's still stuck on there.
That's awesome.
You know, the Mamalona still lives on, bro.
Heck yeah.
Like, it's all right, man. But no, I definitely, and then I remember for the Mexican independence, you know how you put the flags on your car? Mm-hmm. So I put the flags on my car, and I locked my windows, so that way nobody lowers the window. So me and my family were going out to eat dinner somewhere, and for some reason I had disabled the window lock feature. I had the air on in my car, and then my father decides to lower the window. I don't know for what reason, and the second he lowers it, freaking flag goes flying out. And I was like, what the F are you doing? And he's like, whoa. He's like, I just wanted to see something because my back windows are kind of tinted. I'm like, you saw I had the flag out. And I was like, and I looked at the button. I saw it was unlocked. I was like, oh, shoot. I was like, you owe me a new set of flags, man.
It's because of your elbow. You couldn't feel your elbow.
Oh, this is like, man, like
no, I know.
40 years ago, maybe at that. So, but yeah, basically the moral of the story is lock your windows when you put up those little flag things. I did want to get Broncos ones put on my car, but for some reason they're really expensive, Libre, and a little bit too expensive for my taste, just for a couple of car Broncos flags. So I'm hoping to maybe find them cheaper somewhere. else, and that way I can put them up, especially as we get close to the start of the season. If it was up to me and I had the money, I would definitely dye my car orange and with a blue stripe down the middle.
Well, why don't you?
I don't have that type of money, bro.
Hey, that's quiet. It's called the wrap.
All
Or
right.
have you and your nephew go with a Sharpie and start going with a Sharpie and just start coloring it.
It'll look
It's
like
already gray.
It's already gray, yeah. It'll be the most messed up paint job you've ever seen in your life, Libre.
But you know what? It's gonna be great because you and your nephew did it together.
Yeah, but my nephew's a Chiefs fan, bro.
It doesn't matter. He can use blue. Just still color it in blue.
He's gonna sabotage my car, man. Oh,
That's funny.
snap. But what is this gonna be your first time back at the stadium, Libre, for the preseason game?
I was there actually a couple of weeks ago for moving the stadium. But for a game, yes. So, like I was saying, like I was talking, I think a couple of weeks ago about the how the Broncos possibly missed an opportunity to actually host practice at the stadium. But I was talking to one of my friends that works as a manager, as the guest relationship manager there for the Broncos. He did indicate, he goes, like, because actually a Facebook memories came up, and it was like 13 years ago. I was at the stadium for a practice 13 years ago. I was like, man, they missed an opportunity because of all the construction, the limited people that are available to actually attend practices. But he goes, yeah, if you have to remember, like 13 years ago compared to now, the Broncos are now hosting a lot more stadium tours the last several years compared to like 13 years ago, where it wasn't like a real big thing like how it is now. And he goes, and now on the field, because at the time, because even when I went to go to a movie at the stadium, they have this plastic covering that's just across the whole field. And again, it's not grass. There's nothing underneath it. It's just a plastic covering just to help protect the dirt underneath. So when they do get the stadium out there, when they do stages and all that, they're building on top of that and not destroying the actual dirt and the foundation of the stadium. So he said, the time that we have to go in there to make it safe for the players to come out here and play, we have to have the grass out there for a little bit, so that when they put the new sod in, it has to have time for the roots to get into that dirt underneath, and so it has a good solid hold. I go, you know what, you're right. I do understand that part as well. And I go, but he goes, yeah, with all these concert series running up to right to the season and right when we need to start installing grass, is impossible to actually have a practice held here at the stadium. I said, okay, I get that. But again, there's a lot of high schools around. There's like stuff that you can do as well to set it up. But again, I don't know like the type of logistics, what that needs to go into all that. They have to talk to schools, to the districts or whatever. But that's one thing that I hope that they do bring back again, is to get more fans to be able to see the practices. Because I know I have heard a lot of people come out and said that they're super upset this year because they couldn't get a hold of tickets to go to practices. And again, I was only able to get, like this year, I was only able to get 2 tickets to go to practices. One was the very first weekend, which was the Friday, the July 25th. And then for tomorrow, I was able to get these 2 tickets. I was fortunate enough that for the Saturday, the back to football event happening, I had a friend that had an extra ticket and she was able to give that to me. So I appreciate that. So this will be my 3rd one going. I did have somebody on TikTok though really upset about me being able to go there, thinking that I was only going there because of Bronco Libre status. And I was like, that's not the case. I'll be honest with you, it's not the case. I wish it was. I wish it could just be given to me. I'm just like everyone else, is that I don't get any special privileges or anything like that. But I have to go in line. I have to wait for the tickets to become available, just like everyone, and get them at that time as well. So, and I just happened to be lucky enough to get tickets during that time frame. Sorry that you guys didn't get it. Again, I don't get any special privileges. I'm just like everyone else.
Yeah, I found out you don't get any special privileges, Libre. I was trying to have you help me like get a discount because because I'm trying to go to Denver for the Cowboys game, and I was hoping Libre would be like, man, I got a friend, charge you for cheaper for a hotel, bro, and nothing. I just got well, good luck with that.
Go to cheapairflights.com and they might have hotel books for you as well.
I told Libre now that the company I work for, we transitioned to a new company, so we don't have that nice hotel employee discount anymore, because the new company we're at, they don't have any properties at in Denver, so there goes that nice discount. They couldn't have waited till like January or something to change hands. So I was looking with Libre for a little bit before we went live, and I think the cheapest one I saw was like $300.
And that's still a lot. And that's just a hotel for the weekend, right? Is that or per night?
4 days and 3 nights, yeah.
Yeah, that's so crazy on how expensive things are. I get it, but like, come on, bro. That's why, like, whenever I tell some people like that just going out, like I just told my cousin, because my cousin's actually coming up from Arkansas for the Raider Thursday night game. And I told him, I go, you know what? I go, you need to go in there and just reserve a room right away, because at least you lock in their price. If it's 6 months down the road, you don't have to pay anything down. Like, you're gonna pay once you get there and when you check out. I go, so that's the thing, is you want to lock in the best possible price as soon as you can. Because if you're not gonna do that, if you're gonna try to wait closer and closer to the event, guess what? You're gonna pay double, triple, if not quadruple the amount that you could have done it like 2 months earlier. So him and his buddy got a hotel that is at least halfway between my house and the stadium. So I'll just pick him up on the way to the stadium that morning, so that we can go wait in line because that's a Thursday night game. So I'm excited.
So you're telling me, Libre, if I go to Denver, you'll pick me up from my hotel room and we'll go to the game?
If it's on my way and not going far out of the way, yes, I will. But you know what? I don't know. My car's kind of small. I don't know if you can fit in it.
And I'd have to get up at what, 5 a.m?
Yeah. If you're wanting to come and tailgate with me, you're getting up early. If not, you can go ahead and call your coworkers with Uber and get you over there.
My coworkers with Uber. The only thing I dread about going to that game, Libre, is leaving, because I remember last year me and my nephew got stuck in that parking lot for like 40 minutes. And it took us forever to get out of there because we weren't the only ones leaving. I figured the walk from the stadium to our parking spot would give us enough time for traffic to dissipate and, just we can go about our business. I was not expecting 40 minutes of us just sitting there looking at taillights. So
next time you come over and do that, you're going to be spending time on the south side of the ends of the stadium when the players are leaving, so you can try to possibly get an autograph from the players leaving the game. So that gives time for a lot of these cars to leave as well. So that's just something to think about, especially if you're not wanting to be stuck in that traffic like that. That 40 minutes, you could have been there talking with some of the players, getting an autograph, getting a selfie, and you looking down on them all the time and they look up to you.
Hey, maybe I'll finally work up the nerve and take the light rail, and hopefully I don't end up in a lost part of town.
Trust me, you're not gonna like the light rail itself. You just follow the sea of people. They're gonna tell you where to go. Again, it's super easy. I can even give you some information on it once you're here. I'll say, take this one, not that one.
I'll hold you to it. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for our segment of Overtime today. Libre and I would like to thank everybody in our chat that spent the time here with us. If I forget to say your name, I do apologize. I'm going to go as quick as I can. Shy Vargas, the boss, was in here earlier. Bronco Danny, of course, Broncos World Order. Thank you so much for being here with us. Dreamweaver, D-Rock, and Chiefs, even Chief F24. Gonna say thanks for stopping by. Even the hating, as long as it's respectful, because if you guys step over the line and you say or do stuff and you disrespect somebody in a way that's not rivalry-ish, then unfortunately we're gonna have to ask you to respectfully leave. But thank you guys all for being here with us. If there's anybody left in my TikTok chat, thank you so much for staying here. I don't know if that number is correct, but before we head on out of here, gonna go over a couple things with you guys. We're going to ask you to please show your support for us here on the Orange and Blue Network. Subscribe, share, comment, and like on this and all of the videos here on the network. We have something for everybody. Your support is very well appreciated. Shout out to our sponsor, Dubby, for being here with us. This and all the shows here on the network, in fact. And if you use the code NRWOB10, you'll get your 10% off at checkout for all of your favorite Dubby products and flavors. Once again, shout out to Dubby for being a sponsor here on the show and for all the shows here on the network. And thanks to Johnny and the guys over for the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast for hooking you, me, and Libre up. For any business inquiries, you can email at broncostalk2020@gmail.com. For our audio listeners, if you'd like to give us a 5-star review, always well appreciated. If you'd like, also, you can screenshot it, send it to our socials. Our Twitter handles are right there at the bottom of the screen. Mine is at a 6'10" Mexican. Bronco Libre is at Bronco Libre 5280, and we will be more than happy to shout you guys out and enjoy. We will be back next Wednesday at our regular scheduled bat time and bat channel to talk about the Cardinals game, what Libre saw and did, and we're going to look forward towards the end of the preseason against the Rams, I think.
Is it the Rams?
I'm trying to guess.
I don't know.
Looking.
Yeah, I just have the regular season schedule.
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter who we play against because we're going to kick their butt. All right.
It doesn't matter who it is.
It doesn't matter who it is. And just so you guys know, Viva los Broncos will be making their grand return from vacation this Friday. Libre and I will be here. Otherwise, we'll be square.
That's a triangle.
That's a square, bro. In case we don't. Oh, but we cannot wait to be here with you guys and confuse you in a different language, talking about everything we just talked about, but in a different language. So with that being said, he's Bronco Libre. I'm Adan Diaz. This has been Broncos Talk on the Orange and Blue Network. With that, we say good night, everybody. And as always, go Broncos!
Go Broncos! Let's go!
Powered by Broncos World Order, by the way. Subscribe to them on Facebook. Thought I forgot.
Do it now. Now. If not,
right now?
No, not right now. But right now.
Right now.
Right now.
I'm going to go do that right now.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, bye.